So your dad tragically passed away from COVID,
Yes.
and I'm so sorry for your
Thank you.
loss. I know what it's like to lose a father, and it's so tough.
Yeah.
But with it being so unexpected, there really was no plan,
Nope, there
right?
was no plan.
He
I
was still
wasn't on the
very
dealer
young,
agreement. I was
right?
nowhere. Yeah.
You had no formal education in
Mhm.
how to be a dealer or how to become a dealer or what to do. So your family had to make a decision,
Yep.
right? What to do now.
Yep.
Today, I am here with the amazing Whitney Yates Woods. She is so incredible. Whitney, welcome and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome opportunity.
Okay, so let's just talk about Whitney. First and foremost, you are a mother,
Yes.
you're a wife,
Yep.
you're also a badass dealership, multi
Soon to
dealership,
be.
multi dealership owner, right? So you are the owner president of GMC. Tell us about you.
Okay, so I am the dealer principal and president of Yates Buick GMC and soon to be Yates Mitsubishi. We are expanding our footprint in the West Valley, so I'm excited about that. I have a 5-year-old daughter named Blake and an 8-year-old son named Mikey and a husband named Cody.
Mikey.
Yeah,
I love
I
that.
still call him Mikey.
Mikey. He's probably like, Mom, my name is not Mikey. So here's why I wanted to have you on today, because you have done some really incredible things, trailblazing for women in the automobile industry. We'll kind of get into your story and what you're doing now. I know you've run through a lot of like impact and, or you've done a lot of impact, but you've also run through a lot of challenges. But let's just talk a little bit about the Yates brand. So your father started the business
Yeah,
about did you say 40
40
years?
years. 1984, I think, is when he. Mhm.
1984. So you kind of grew up in the automobile industry with, as a kid, dad had
Mhm.
a dealership, and you had mentioned to me that even the beginnings of this dealership, he was 33
Mhm.
when he started the dealership.
Yeah, it's really unheard of. I mean, it's usually generational. It's very hard to just buy dealerships without millions of dollars. He
Right.
definitely didn't have that. He was a used car salesman, and
Wow.
he told my mom when he met her, "I'm going to own a dealership," and she's like, "Okay, cool."
Isn't that funny? You're like, okay, yeah, huh,
Yeah,
I'm sure you will. And then he made that dream
yeah. He had
happen.
a used car lot, and he got GMC to give him GMC trucks, and we were GMC Truck Country in the beginning, is what the name of it was.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a really small little building, and then eventually moved to the I-10 freeway in '96, and we've been there ever since.
My gosh, in 96.
Hmm.
And you, like we said, you kind of grew up in the business and you were in marketing and sort of that sort of thing, never really thinking or expecting to be the principal dealer,
No,
right?
I really didn't have it on my life plan. I wanted to be a mom. I thought it would be too much work. I mean, my dad and I talked about it even, you want to be a wife, you want to be a mother. I don't want this stress for you. I don't want this for you. He
Right.
would always say that. And so I kind of just never thought it was for me. I did little jobs, marketing. I did the reception desk in high school and college. I mean, just small things, customer service, traditional women roles, if you
Right.
will. And then, I sort of got forced into this decision on my own, but just with life circumstances, and I couldn't be happier.
So your dad tragically passed away from COVID,
Yes.
and I'm so sorry for your
Thank you.
loss. I know what it's like to lose a father, and it's so tough.
Yeah.
But with it being so unexpected, there really was no plan,
Nope, there
right?
was no plan.
He was
I
still
wasn't on the
very
dealer
young,
agreement. I was
right?
nowhere. Yeah.
You had no formal education in
Hmm.
how to be a dealer or how to become a dealer or what to do. So your family had to make a decision,
Yep.
right? What to do now.
Yep.
And I know you said, and I've read also and heard you say that, there was a time when you were thinking, should we sell it? Do we sell
Hmm.
it? What do we do? What are we going to do? And you have a brother,
I do. Yes.
but Whitney, badass Whitney, woman Whitney, superstar Whitney said, no, 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 I think I can do this.
Yeah, we did talk about it. He was in the ICU for 2 months, so we had some time. And my mom would say, if he passes away, I think we just need to sell it. I'm like, oh yeah, because we were just in that stressed moment, didn't know what to do. And after his funeral and after things died down, I went to my mom and brother and I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. I had to convince General Motors because I wasn't on the
Right.
agreement.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about that. So, what did that time look like or what take us back to those days of you're emotionally distraught, right?
Hmm.
Something unexpected happened, even if it was a 2-month process, which sometimes could be even worse, right?
Hmm. We were hopeful too that it would
Right.
be okay.
And here you are, you're like, I think I can do this. What did that time look like for you?
I was scared, but I also was like, I'm not going to have someone else's name go up on this building. This is my family. This is my dad and my mom's legacy and my children and my brother. And I think the whole family kind of felt that way when we
Mm,
really got to thinking about it. And there were people everywhere trying to buy it. It's in a popular community.
right.
It's growing. It's a great location. People wanted to buy it. So I was getting messages every day from different dealers asking if they could buy the store. We're so sorry for your loss, but if you ever sell,
Right.
can you call me?
But I know it's like it's really fast, but like can I buy it? Right?
Exactly. No, that's exactly
You're like,
true.
"Hold on, people. We are still trying to figure things out."
Yep.
Only 2% of women own dealerships.
Yep.
You're one of the 2%,
Yes, it's
right?
very, very small percent. Yes.
Wow. How
Yeah.
does that feel?
It's amazing. It can feel a little weird at a dealer meeting. I will tell you when we go to our General Motors dealer meetings, it's usually like two or three females and the rest are men, and there's 8,000 General Motors GMC dealers. So it's definitely different, but I've learned to kind of take that. I'm prideful about it
Right.
and I like to talk about it. And I've spoke at like the National Auto Dealers Association. I've been on the Car Mom podcast, just different
Mhm.
little things trying to show women what you can do.
I love that. And I really want to go into some of the adversity that you have felt or seen along the way. We'll go into that in just a second because I think there's so many lessons that for our viewers and people who listen could really take from you. But let's talk about like what it took for you to actually take over because this was not an easy feat. Like you just literally said, you had to show and prove
Yep.
and ask and see
Yeah,
how you could take this over. What was that process like? So I know you said you went to dealer school.
I did.
What so you can't just say like, "Hey, I'm gonna be the I'm the owner, I'm the new
Right.
owner." It doesn't work that way, right?
No.
What does that process look like?
So it can take years, to be honest. I've had some friends that have been trying to get on their dealer agreements for a long time. Basically, General Motors came out several times and interviewed me, bigwigs from various different levels, and I had to prove that I knew what I was doing and that I could run the store and be profitable for them and for us. And I did go to the dealer academy, which was great, but it didn't really teach me what I needed to know. It was more hands-on experience and life experience and just learning being in the dealership
Mhm.
that taught me what I actually needed to know. But I feel like I did a good job proving to them that I had my stuff together. I knew the direction I wanted to take the store, and I was going to show them I can do this no matter what. I was
I
not
love that.
going to fail.
You were like so set. There was no failure was
No,
not an option.
no. And they knew that. I had one rep that was really on my side, and he was like, at first, when I heard it was the sister and not the brother, I was like, what? We don't know the sister because my brother had been there more than I had.
Mhm.
And they came in and they met me, and he's like, the first meeting I met you, I was like, she'll be fine.
I think with like that determination though, you probably were able to get buy-in that
Yeah.
way just because you were like, "No, I'm here. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Let's go."
And you know what I did is I was afraid they weren't going to approve me. And I emailed Mary Barra, the president of General Motors. I'm like, she's a female. I'm a
Hey girl.
female. Yeah, I did. And I thought she's never going to see this email or she's never going to write back. I would say 10 minutes later, she wrote back.
Really?
Yep. And I wrote her and I just said, my dad had this dealership. He tragically passed away. I'm trying to get the approval from General Motors. I'm going to do the best job for you. I promise. And she wrote back and was like, I have no doubt this dealership will be in really good hands.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. And what like a sigh of relief, right?
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine you're going through the process and you're thinking, okay, we really, really, now that we know that we want to keep this and we're going to keep this,
Hmm.
like the process or the waiting period of like, is this going to happen?
Right.
Can this happen?
Right. And they can take points. I mean, you don't own it. You own the land, but you
Right.
don't own the brand. They do,
That's
so
right.
it's
That's right.
difficult.
How long was that process for you? Because you said it could take years.
It can, yeah. They expedited it a bit for me because we didn't have a dealer
Uh-huh.
once he passed. So we had no one to attend the functions and meetings and sign the paperwork and all of that. So I kept
Right.
trying to really push for a quicker turnaround. So I would say we had an approval in 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that
That
was
was pretty
pretty good.
fast.
Yeah. Hmm.
We have a mutual friend,
Yes.
Kelly Ross is one of
Yes.
our friends. She's also in the car business, and
She's
when
a
she,
boss.
well, that's so funny. I was actually going to say she is a boss, but she told me when she first told me about you, she said, "Sarah, you need to know. Do you know Whitney?" And I said, "No," and she said, "You need to know Whitney. She is a boss woman.
Oh.
She's such a powerhouse. And so how funny is like I feel like our worlds have like turned so many different ways and we're finally,
Yes.
connected. But you really are. And I'm just so excited. And I hate to say that proud word, but like it's such an awesome thing that you are doing
Thank you.
for women because you're showing them that anything's possible, especially the next generation.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about like the obstacles and the challenges. I mean, you're in a male dominated
Yes.
industry,
It
right?
is
A
very male
good
dominated.
old boys club,
Yes.
right? And being sometimes the only woman at the table or in the room, it's just I can only imagine it's challenging. I mean, I have one girlfriend who's a general contractor, and they used to ask her all the time, like, "Hey, honey, can you go get me the coffee?" And she's
Mhm.
like, "Babe, I'm the decision maker
Yeah.
here, right?"
Yeah.
I can tell us some stories about what it's been like over these
It's
last few years.
it's interesting. I definitely think I was actually telling someone else this the other day that when I go to some of our dealer meetings, people think I'm someone's wife, like a
Because
dealer's wife.
you're a hot boss. I mean, let's be real, hot mom. I mean, whew, I
But
can
I
only
have had
imagine.
some interesting conversations, even in the very beginning. My first meeting, I'll tell the story. I don't care if he hears. My first meeting with GM, it was like an off the record meeting. We just met at a coffee shop, and the guy asked me if I had kids, and I said I had a 5-month-old and a 2-year-old at the time. And he goes, "How are you going to run a dealership with
Mm,
small children?"
mm.
And I made the dumbest decision. Like in my head, I go, "Oh, I'm going to get a nanny." But really what I should have said is, "I don't know, I wonder how my dad did it." But I
Mhm.
didn't think about that at the time, and I was so
Right.
nervous. I was like, "Don't worry, I'll have childcare."
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
but they would never ask
They
that.
would never
No.
ask. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my
I've had some
gosh.
interesting conversations with people, but, you just grow, and now I would have a totally different
I know.
answer.
Well, and I think there is this incredible thing that is happening with you because not only did you take over this dealership and assume it as it
Mhm.
was,
Mhm.
but you have made some pretty incredible changes. First and foremost, if you do not watch the social media, you all need to go look at your social media. It is so good. You have video, you have really embraced you're here in Phoenix, so the Phoenix Mercury. So you're
Mhm. Oh,
doing
yeah.
things with the WNBA. You're really taking this forward like woman supporting women
Yep.
type of initiative, which is
Mhm.
unheard of, I think, in
Mhm.
male dominated industries, especially in the car business. I don't see it anybody else doing it.
Right.
You have fun skits, you have fun spoofs and all types of like crazy fun things. I'm so obsessed with it, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And it's just this like really fun, humorous, like making light of something that doesn't have to be scary, that
Right.
doesn't have to be a serious conversation, right? Like the
Right.
the process of buying a car, I'd rather buy from my friends.
Mhm.
Right. So you
Mhm.
almost like exert yourself as this like cool, fun, friendly,
Yes.
rather than just saying like, we're a friendly family run,
Right.
dealership. You really like showcase that.
Yeah, I hope the videos do. That's the
They're
whole
amazing.
point of them is so that people come in and they ask for the people in the videos. We have it all
Right.
the time. Dylan and Chris, they're like, "Are they here?" And they've
I
seen
want to
their
buy from
videos.
him or
Yeah.
her. Yeah,
And that
right.
really is their personality. We use salespeople in some of the videos, and that really is their personality. I do feel we hire people that are, I think the store takes on the personality of the person running it.
That's it.
And so I've tried to bring in the people that I want to be surrounded with every day. And I think that they're really fun and good people.
They always say that, right? Leadership top down. So you as a leader, you're really injecting so much influence and an innovation, really.
Hmm.
So I look at the opportunity that you had, sort of unwelcomed opportunity, right?
Hmm.
That you had, and you have just run with it. Talk a
Hmm.
little bit about some of those like marketing hacks or marketing tips that, you could even share with some of the women here who are listening. How did you even come up with some of these ideas?
So I did meet a guy at a football game that ran another dealership, and he was doing some cool social media, and I looked at it and I'm like, we need to be doing more. But I wanted mine to be different. His was like some models and things like that, which they're awesome videos. I love it. But I'm like the woman power, like the
Right.
WNBA. So I was like, we need to make it our style, but we need to kind of do something similar. So we just started really being consistent. We used to make a video here and there and then
Hmm.
move on, or we'd get really gung ho one month and then move on. Now it's a full time job. I have a great marketing guy that does a lot of the videos with us and for us. And we just really dedicate one day a month and we film 10 different things all on the same day and then
Batch.
spread them out throughout the next month. And we're constantly getting ideas. It's been so fun because now the employees will text me, hey, for our next skit, this would be a good idea. Or they'll like
Yeah.
come up with,
So
or
you've
we
got
have,
like full buy-in now. Like
yes,
it's a thing.
yes. Like the hot dog one that we did,
Oh
they
my
actually
gosh.
made hot dogs one day in the service department with a hot dog machine. And I didn't know this was happening. It was like a holiday weekend. And I was like, that would be the funniest skit if we made hot dogs in the showroom. You know, it's like real life things that
Yeah.
happen that we've been kind of like spoofing on.
I love it. It's like the human behind the
Uh-huh.
business, right? Like
Yeah.
I think so often when I look at like how your industry has been, right? I'm a woman. I've bought many a cars and
Hmm.
I've walked out of many a dealerships as well. And there's really no access. There's not even access to like the GM,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And the fact that you are first and, forward facing
Hmm.
makes such a difference, I think.
Yes.
And that's why I think that another reason why you may be so successful, especially in this day and age with a younger buyer or more modern progressive buyer,
Hmm.
because the industry is changing
It is.
and you're really at the helm of that.
Mhm. Thank you.
What are some of the other things that you're doing with the business that's very outside of the box?
I think I really try to elevate women. So it's hard to get women to work in sales, typically is hard because of the hours.
Yeah.
And I think something that I've really tried to change, there's this good old boys club mentality that we work bell to bell. That's like a common saying in the car
Bell to
business,
bell.
bell to bell. So you work from 8 to 8. You know, we're here all day, and we don't do that. We are like family first. You know, my general sales manager, he has to go take his kids to swimming lessons on Wednesdays. Go take your kids to swimming
Hmm.
lessons. Like it's a
Hmm.
well-known thing that if you have a child and you need to go do something, step out and go do it. It's not bell to bell. We go home at 5 if and then someone
Yeah.
else covers the rest of the night. We are open 8 to 8. But, we don't have this like work-life balance that's so extreme
Right.
where they like prided themselves on that in the past in the car business. So I
Hmm.
think that has helped our store be more innovative and people work harder and it's just a
Has it
better
translated into
vibe.
sales?
It definitely has. So we
Okay. I
have,
really want to make that point too.
yes, we have upped our sales. Gosh, I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but we got dealer of the year last year. We have earned 23. We have hit like all of our goals and then some and earn all this extra allocation. So our lot is packed with cars. We were
Wow.
never really in that position
Hmm.
before. And so I think definitely the vibe in there is so fun and everybody wants to work hard. And it's kind of like going to a game. Like we're like, yes, the end of the month. Like today's the last day of
That's
the
it.
month. And it's like we're crushing it. It's so fun when you're winning as a team.
Have you done or taken like leadership courses, coaching? Like how did you know that this is how you should run a team or build the team, right? I think there's a lot of that, especially when we're talking to the people who are going to listen or watch this. They're small business owners or aspiring, business owners who are like, but how do I even like mobilize my team to even be happy to come to work,
Right.
right?
So one of the best things I ever did, and I didn't do it the first year. I think I did it the second year. Is I joined a 20 group, is what it's called. So it's basically a group of 20 different dealers from all different states that are not competitors
Mhm.
that go to a meeting 3 times a year, and we show each other everything. So they can see
Mm.
how much money I'm making, how much I'm paying all my people, how much I'm making. I mean,
Wait,
everything.
I love this.
Yeah, it's been the best thing ever. It's taught me how to run my store, what to do, what not to do. We tell each other like cautionary tales. Hey, last week at my store, this really bad thing happened. You guys need to make sure you're not doing this. Or great success stories.
Wow.
I'm using an influencer in Minnesota that's a hockey mom, and you guys should try to find one in your neighborhood. And like we just share and
The
collaborate.
secrets, it's so important,
Yeah, yep,
right?
yep,
Oh my gosh. So I think that's so important, sharing success secrets. And I love that they're in the same industry.
yeah.
Like there's separation.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, that's important. But I love that they're in the same industry. And I tell people too, like even within our organization, I mean, if you're a mortgage broker or a wealth manager in North Carolina, you should know someone in Florida and you should know someone in Texas and you should connect with the person,
Right.
all over because there is a lot of opportunity for like mind share and success
Yes.
secrets and that type of thing. So
Yep.
collaboration
Yep,
is
it's
everything.
definitely helped me. I mean, every time I go to those meetings, if I can come back with something that can make more money for the store, that's a win.
That's the goal, right?
Yep, yep.
You're
And
like,
so,
"We're gonna have a lot of fun."
yep. And we do. We have a lot of fun. They've
Right.
become like second family. I mean, these people
Right.
have been together for years. They had an opening and I got in, but they are amazing dealers that have taught me so much. I could not and probably would not be where I am right now without them.
Have you had anyone or any at any point in your career had people who were like, no, you're not going to make it?
I think in the very beginning when I came in, I was a little bit threatening to some of the people like that were higher up or that maybe didn't take me seriously, and then I think as I was like, I'm here to stay and I'm not going anywhere. This isn't just going to fade out in 3 months. I did
Right.
hear that from somebody that,
Oh,
yeah,
she'll get
she'll
bored.
get bored in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I won't. Watch me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've definitely had some haters and some doubters, and I've had my moments where I'm like, what am I doing? I go in the bathroom and I'm like, Dad, you left me here. But overall, I love it, and I wish that he and I could have done it together. I know
Yeah.
everything happens for a reason, and maybe I wouldn't be doing this right now if it weren't for what
Right.
happened. But yeah, I just keep showing up, and I keep acting like I
I was gonna
belong.
ask you, what do you do? You just, like it's not a fake it till you make it, but you just
It
kind of
kind
like
of was in the
you kind of
beginning.
just gotta
Yeah.
put your
Yep.
head down and pretend like you don't see it and
Yep.
keep working,
Yeah, I
right?
really did not know much when I started, and I would say that I'd be like, "Hey, I'm new, so I'm trying to
I
figure it out."
love that you
Yeah.
just said that. I literally just said that to someone. Like, if it's your first time, it's going to look pretty messy. And
Mhm.
it's okay to be like, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing
Yep.
here. Like,
Yep.
I'm trying my best. I am
Mhm.
working hard at this. I'm not going to give up. So don't write me off.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yep, that was exactly what it was for probably the first year-ish. But
Yeah.
yeah, I finally feel like I do know what I'm doing.
And then, like, I'm going to say, like, numbers don't
That's
lie. So,
true. Yeah.
hey, I mean, dealer of the year is huge.
Yes.
How did the second, like, kind of brand and second, you're moving, right? Are you
Yes.
moving or you're expanding?
So we, right after my dad passed away, there was some land that came up and we bought it. And it was behind our dealership, 4 acres. So I was looking for something to put on those 4 acres,
Mhm.
but it's very hard to get a brand, especially where we're at in Arizona. Everything is taken.
Yeah.
You can't be within certain aeronautical
Yep.
miles from the dealer of another point or whatever. So I reached out on LinkedIn to every single CEO that I could think of asking.
Hold on. Wait, what?
Yeah, asking if I could
That's
have
very
a
grassroots of
point.
you, Whitney.
And a lot of them wrote back. Like, I'm shocked at these people who are so busy that
Okay, there's a
do write back.
lesson just right there in that. Like, don't be afraid to make the ask
Yes.
and get. Sometimes you got to go to LinkedIn because
Yes. Yep.
they sometimes they write back.
Sometimes they write back. And so most
Wow.
of the brands were like, no, we haven't added a point in America in this many years. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like roadblocks everywhere. But eventually, Mitsubishi actually came to me because they were looking to they were big here, like in '08, they all went out. And so they were looking to reinvigorate the market.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came to me and I thought, I don't know. I don't know. I had never really thought of Mitsubishi, to be honest with you. But once I started looking at the brand and seeing what they were doing, I'm like, this would be pretty cool. So I had to convince them that they didn't want it in Goodyear. They wanted it in Avondale. So I had to try to make the point that Goodyear could sustain the same thing.
Okay.
And they did some sort of study and brought in people and decided that yes, I could have
It could
the point.
happen.
Mhm.
And when is this happening?
So we're supposed to open December of this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So very
And you
exciting.
have like the new Buicks because I've been looking at these Buicks. Like you've made Buick sexy.
They're very sexy.
They're really cute.
And they're very affordable. We have some like really cute. The Invista is adorable, and it's a
Oh
lower
my
lower
gosh.
price point.
Yep.
It's a perfect car for a younger person that just maybe their first car and
Yep.
want something nice and not used. So we have some great product right now. GM's really done a great job.
Yeah, how cool is that? I really want to hear from you on some tips that you would give to maybe someone who's up against some challenges.
Yeah.
Like, what do you say about like keep going and or when to give up, right?
Yeah.
Like how did you make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to pivot too. If you're doing something that's not making you happy and you hate it, it's okay to say, hey, I'm going to do something else with my life. We only
Right.
get one shot at this life, and it is so short, and things happen every single day. So you have to do something you love. And I do believe that. And I know that's hard because money, and
Yeah.
sometimes we're stuck in a job we don't love, and we need the income. But I do believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and just keep showing up if you love it and you belong there. Just convince yourself that you do, and never give up.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna put you on the spot, so hopefully I'm sure you've got something, but I love to talk about like the best decision you've ever made, but the worst decision you've ever made because I like to really bring forth like the real, the raw, the authentic conversations.
Mhm.
And like what's it really like, right? Because
Mhm.
so often you hear like the social highlight, or you see it and you're like, God,
Mhm.
she's just got it going on. Is she that gorgeous in real life? And she's just so successful. And like, you've made probably some pretty tough decisions, or maybe some bad decisions. What do you think is the hardest decision that you've made, maybe in your life or recently, or something that maybe didn't go the way you, oh, shoot, I thought it was going to go well, but I misfired on that. Like, is there one thing that sticks out?
The hardest or worst decision? I mean, we've lost a lot of money in our service department when I first started, and I think a lot of that was my fault. And I think we've turned it around now, and everything is great. But that was a huge red flag to me. I was like, we're just losing money hand over fist in service, and there's got to be a way to make it. And now we are. So I think my management and inexperience probably led to that,
Mm.
for sure. And yeah, I think that's probably right now off like in the last 4 years. That's probably
And
one of the
sometimes it's
worst.
just like probably like learning things the hard way,
Yeah,
right? You wouldn't know what you don't
yeah,
know. And
yeah,
so sometimes giving yourself a little grace, like, wow, that was a really tough time. But
yeah.
hey, I'm recognizing that.
Yeah.
And
And I'm so thankful for the good times after that. Now I'm like, oh, we're making money.
right, exactly. And sometimes those like hardest times like end up being actually the best,
Yeah,
because you're
because
like,
we're doing so much
we're going to
better.
figure this out. And then you're
Yes.
like, wow, we figured that thing out.
Yep. We have ranks like in our group, and I used to be at the bottom of the page in the service department. And now I'm like number 2 from the top. And I'm like,
Oh, you're like,
it
yeah,
feels
we really
so
figured that
good.
out.
No one else would care except for that group. But it just feels good to finally like conquer something.
I think that's incredible. I'm not going to use the word balance, but how do you do that? You had a you were 5-month old when you started
Yeah.
this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I've kind of seen your kiddos grow, and I've also seen you take some very intentional time off as well.
Hmm.
Talk a little bit about like the juggle, because as mothers who are in business and running very successful businesses, we have to make sacrifices, and
Yes.
it is a juggle. It is a balance. It
It
is all the
is.
things.
Yep.
And it's also much more than just hiring that nanny that you
Yeah.
said you were going to hire. So
Yeah, it is.
talk a little bit about that for the moms who are out here. Like, how are you crushing life right now?
Well, it is hard. And like you said, you can hire help, but it's not the same as mom. The kids always want me. They're always,
Yeah.
when are you coming home? And now they can call me. So that's even worse. I feel even more guilty.
Mom,
I
she's on the computer again.
I just try to spend as much time with them as I can. I don't work on the weekends anymore. When I first started, I was trying to work all the time. And now I'm like, you know what? I leave Fridays early. I spend time with my kids Saturdays and Sundays, and we just make it a very intentional family time. I also go out. I go out with my husband, and we
Mhm.
go to dinner, and we go to
Date nights.
Scottsdale, and we're very social. We love to hang out with our friends and stuff.
Hmm.
So I try not to feel guilty about that, because the kids are going to leave me one day, and I want to make sure that I'm having
That
fun.
you and that you have like someone at home
Yes,
when the kids leave, that
yes,
you have a husband
that
at
I have a
home.
relationship. Yes,
Right.
exactly. But it is hard to balance. I think, especially when you're in growth mode, you can get wrapped up. And I'm
Yeah,
sure the day we open Mitsubishi, I keep on telling my husband, like, let's enjoy right now, because I'm not going to be here.
that's
I'm
right.
going to be there. So, but I try not to miss their big things. I'm at every school thing that they need me at. I mean, I don't go on the field trips, but I do as
I
much as
don't.
I can with
Those are not my
them.
thing either. So
Yeah,
don't worry.
I and Cody does help me a lot, so I'm very thankful for that. He's got a little bit of a flexible schedule, so he can run to the school and do stuff. But it's hard. I don't think there is a balance. I know, like, we talk work life balance, but you're all in on your kids and you're all in on your work, and
That's right.
that's just the way it is.
That's
And
it. And
yeah,
like you said, it's up and down, and it's a balance
hmm,
between, sometimes you're really in like a season. Like for me, I'm in a mom season, and as quiet as I can be, but like very intentional season. But then
hmm,
I just came out of like a really crazy growth season,
hmm,
and I think sometimes it's just is that.
yeah,
And it's really cool that you see that and you're like, hey, we're gonna like maximize our time now, because we know like
coming soon. Yeah,
it's gonna be really
hmm,
crazy.
yep.
Any piece of advice that you would give to anyone who's like looking to get into the car business? Believe it or not, there's like some women out here who really do want to get into that car business.
Yeah, no, that I would welcome any female that wanted to get into the car business. I think don't limit yourself to the office or the typical traditional female roles that we often do.
Mhm.
Um, really think about sales. Think about, where do you make the most money? I mean, sales department is,
Yeah.
and finance, and don't limit yourself to, I have to file papers, because you don't. Not that that's not important, but I'm just saying that if you have a desire and drive to work at a car dealership, go there and be the best one.
That's right.
Prove yourself and sell the most cars, and you get moved up to finance. And I think a female in a finance role would kill it. And
I think so too.
I have not had one, and it's unfortunate. And I want somebody. So I'm always looking, that's for sure. And I know a lot of dealers feel the same way. And I think people are comfortable with females explaining numbers and warranties and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think so
So
too. Well, thank you so much for being here
thank
today. I
you.
really wanted to share your story because I think there's a lot of beauty that can come from tragedy, and sometimes we're given a shot and we weren't expecting it. But I mean, really, just like you and your story of it was unexpected, but you took it. You did more than just make it the best you could. I mean, you have really thrived and crushed and innovated and now expanded
Thank
in this
you.
industry. Like, cheers to you, sister.
Thank
You're
you.
doing it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sarah.
Thanks for being here.